Welcome back to the huddle, guys. This is Kelitah, for those of you who don't recognize me. And guys, today, y'all better be thankful. Y'all better be grateful. Today, I'm not alone, okay? I'm here with my amazing co-host.
I was about to say you never are.
I'm here with my amazing co-host, given Illustrative, okay?
Hello, everybody.
But I'm also here with an incredible person who we just managed to get on a last minute roping in to the podcast. Welcome to the huddle, Tristan Fisher.
Hi, how are you?
We're good.
You're like, I have a heist coming up. I'll fill you in when we get to the bank.
That's essentially what happened.
Yes.
That's essentially what happened. I called her at like 10 o'clock
Yeah.
and I was like, hey, I was praying and I was thinking about what I need to say about this on this podcast. And like, I just saw a picture of you. So can you come? Are you at home? She's like, I'm not at home. I'm like, oh, can you get
Wow.
to Hatfield at like 12? And she's like, yeah, now we're here. So it's definitely a God thing, definitely a great thing. But I really decided that this was important because I feel like, you know, we are in a social media age, but I think things are starting to get out of control. And the reason why this kind of came to mind was I don't know if you've seen this comment before, but I've seen it quite a lot in different circumstances. And they would be like, there would be a video of someone doing something like ridiculous or very obviously because they want to seek the attention or the likes and stuff like that on Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
And you check on the comment section and it'll say, wow, attention's one hell of a drug.
Yes.
And it really is, if we really think about it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's the reason why I wanted Tristan on. So for those of you who don't know Tristan.
Tristan is an attention.
Wow.
I'm joking. I didn't say it, so no one can
The
cut a
opposite
clip.
of my brand.
No one can clip it out and say,
Make an exposed video.
I'm clip proofing us.
Oh man. So Tristan is an influencer. She's actually a skin influencer, but I'm not going to go ahead and tell her story. That's where we're going to pick it up. What made you famous on the internet, Miss Ma'am?
Famous is a bit of a stretch right now, but so I decided to post my acne journey on TikTok and on Instagram, and because of being relatable, people just gravitated towards my pages and my videos. So because of being vulnerable and showing my journey of my skincare and my mental health and my relationship with God, that's where everything sort of is what it is right now. Yeah.
I feel like she's being so humble.
Or she's just being honest.
I feel like she's being so humble. I feel like
Do you mean it in terms of talking about her following or talking about what led to her following?
talking about her following, right?
Okay.
Because like your guys, like I actually checked your TikTok. Okay, because it's weird because we're friends.
Yes.
So obviously I look at her TikTok and I'm like, that's my friend, that's my chovi. So you're not
Yeah.
like conscious of like the views and the likes and stuff like that. But because of today, I actually just did go on her channel. I mean, not her channel, on her TikTok.
Yes.
Just to like update myself on
Per.
what's
Are
currently
you
happening.
primarily on TikTok or
Yes.
Instagram?
Primarily on TikTok, trying to gravitate towards
Instagram.
Instagram.
Okay. All right.
There are a couple of 1.5 million views there by the TikTok.
That is
so
awesome.
that's what
That
I'm
is
saying.
awesome. That is very
Thank you.
awesome.
she's influencing. You understand?
You're making me
Yes.
shy.
That is very awesome. Hey.
Thank you so much. Not being humble, just I don't view my platform as mine, so it's not all my doing. So that's why I keep it humble, so also it doesn't get to my head if I just say it for what it is and say this is what my platform's about, and instead of bringing up the numbers and the fame around it and the buzz around it, it also just roots me. And
However, though, For the purpose of the subject and the purpose of the context of this conversation,
Yes, sir.
we need the numbers.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
We need to know, because I mean, if and I say this because if we're going to have a conversation about attention seeking, which I think you're in the perfect position to actually add value to that conversation, because
Absolutely.
you have to be. You know what? I love Moses, because Moses is the only guy in the Bible who wrote about himself
Yes.
that he's the most humble person alive. Can you believe that?
Facts.
Right? That's a very unmodest thing to do.
Very humble.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
Yeah.
But anyways, the point being, I feel like you're in a very good position to add value to the conversation, because you both have the attention. Then it might lead one to make the argument that when you started your acne journey, and when you started your decided to put your relationship with God on social media, were you not seeking attention? So that's one dynamic that we can tackle it from. And not only are you're a person who's actually accumulated the attention, while at the same time advocating for humility. So that's being humble, basically. That's a very, very it's a very unique position that not many people find themselves in. I suppose with TikTok these days, I mean, everybody tends to like, oh, you have a TikTok with 1 million people and 1 million views. It feels like everybody has that experience, but it's still quite a minority,
It is.
right? Yeah. So it's a rare thing that you can add input in. Like, when you started your journey, what was the motivation behind it?
Sure.
Wow. So it's kind of get a bit deep.
If it was a bit vain, please be honest with us. And
No.
guys, I was so vain.
No.
I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, girl, you got this.
You need to be on TikTok.
Oh, my word. No, quite the opposite, actually. So
Yeah.
my motivator was that there were not many people put themselves in that vulnerable position, right? So when I had my breakout, my face was double the size right now. I had cystic acne pouring out, and it just wasn't pretty. And I wanted to see how people got through that, and I couldn't, because people only show the highlights of their life. So my motivator was, I'm going to be that person for someone else. So I'm going to go through it, and they can see what I went through and how I felt in doing so. So yeah, I guess that was not. I
Okay,
guess.
that's very interesting. I can absolutely relate to that,
Mm.
because I myself have things that I would like to know and understand how those things get, which personally I feel like those are some of the most useful ways of using social media.
Yes.
Following people that have something you actually are aspiring towards.
The
Rather,
relatability aspect of like, okay, you did it, so
yes.
I can do it too.
Exactly. And not just relatability, but also the informative part. Like, I'm getting even though what worked for you might not work for me, but your trial and error process, just to show that, oh guys, it's normal for you to try things and them not work until you get to what works for you. That's a very, very big thing. It's
Yeah.
a very big thing.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that, like, as you were speaking about Moses writing about how humble he was.
Yeah.
I think that, we kind of have a warped sense of what humility is, in the sense that I feel like real humility is knowing that you have every reason to boast and deciding not to, right?
I totally get you, yeah.
So I think that this is also why, like, having Tristan on is really, really awesome. And I have a question for you, right? So we've had a couple of viral clips on thingy.
You saw
on
we had
TikTok.
one recently.
Yes. I was shook. I was just kind of like scrolling. I was like, hi, bro, there are a lot of comments on here. I didn't even check the views. I was like, why are there so many comments? And then I'm like, hi, bro, things are happening here.
Yeah.
But, like, that's something that's personally, like, it's very interesting. I analyze my psychology quite often. And it's almost like when that happened, I was like, oh, what's the next viral clip? what next? How do we keep the momentum? How do we keep things going? We don't want to go regress. How do we,
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that can get, having that psychology becomes very distractive, because you end up chasing what people want instead of being in the position that God wants you to be, right? So I'm because relationship topics are trending on TikTok, I'm gonna
Yeah.
pivot there so
Yes.
that I can get views and people can look at me, instead of knowing that God has given us this platform to make an impact for the youth, whether they're 100 views or 175,000 views.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of I wanted you to speak on that, Tristan. Like, when that first video went viral, cool, there's a lot of attention, there's a lot happening. What was your psychology? Like, were you thinking, okay, what's next? What do I do with all of this attention? How do I keep this attention? How do I keep it? This is actually really funny. She's also studying psychology.
Oh,
So,
that's interesting. That's very interesting.
just get into that. Like, how was that for you?
I was scared when my videos started getting the buzz around it, and I started getting the DMs and all of that. For those that don't know me, I don't like being on my phone. I'm a horrible texter just because of that experience. I think it was kind of traumatic.
Sure.
But so my phone was constantly buzzing with notifications, thousands and thousands of comments or DMs a day. I'm still getting those DMs. Like, I had to filter my comments, but my DMs. But just that experience was very daunting for me, because I was like, I'm normally in the back. I don't like the attention.
Yeah.
I've never liked attention. So that experience kind of made me want to just put my phone off and delete the videos from social media.
Sure.
And go ghost. But then I spoke to my dad about it, and he was like, no, people...
Let's make that money!
I mean, one aspect. That time, her dad is also being an influencer with her now.
Really?
So
He's the influencer dad. He's going to events with me.
That's proper.
Doing campaigns with me.
That is proper. That is proper.
So my dad is actually like, no, you can't delete this stuff, because you are what people need right now. So even though it is scary to put yourself on the internet, especially like this, when people only know showing the highlights, it's what's necessary for this.
That's
so
true.
I documented my journey, and I think like 2 months after I decided to post it.
Sure.
So I had the videos backed up already. It was just a matter of when, why, how, And when I eventually did put out the next video, it also got that same buzz, and I was like, okay, this is actually what people need to see.
Sure.
They need to see someone flaking because of acne, They need to see someone crying because of the emotional space.
Sure.
So that they don't feel alone. So, yeah.
I love that.
How many videos did you make, if you can remember, before you started posting?
Oh, wow. So I used to do 2 facials a week.
Okay.
And each facial I would do like a little clip, and also like just daily clips of what my skin looks like today. Yeah.
Okay. So
it was
would
for about a
20...
year.
What?
It was for about a year.
Before you started posting?
Yes.
Girl, you
This
had
journey
that
was long.
merch.
I can't.
You had that merch.
She had content. She had content.
Yo.
The
You
journey
know,
was long.
I don't know if this is a bit premature in the discussion, but I'm really intrigued by the fact that you're studying psychology. You were having real existential and very personal issues about putting yourself out there and getting that much as much attention as you ended up getting, while at the same time, because it's actually leading me to wonder whether it shouldn't just be like good advice that we should all give to anyone who's pursuing any form of fame, that you need to get therapy. Like at some point you need to get to a place where, because our intention is actually to talk about the person who's pursuing fame
Sure.
for the wrong reasons.
Sure.
But there's someone like you who's doing it for the right reasons and who's now feeling that aftermath,
Sure.
right, of having become the influencer to whatever degree, right?
Come now.
Yeah, because it does have certain psychological impact on you.
Mm.
I don't know if you guys have actually taken a look at how child actors that we grew up with, I mean, from back in the
Mind
day,
of
Disney
Disney.
actors, like
Yeah.
how now it's affected them
Yeah.
now.
And
A
they're
lot of
coming
them
out
went
about it now.
exactly. You know what I mean?
That's
So
true.
it should just be standard that people need to be very careful that fame is something that just does a number on you.
Sure.
You know, and you really do need to either be seeing counseling, doing counseling, or at the very least having, like you have your father who's able to walk you through the journey, which it doesn't feel as scary as it would
Yeah.
as if I'm doing it in secret at home.
I think it
Sure.
also just comes down to, yes, you should have a good support system, but at the same time, you should know who you are, because people are going to say nasty things. People are going to be rude and try and give you advice on how you should change your content, what content you should produce. People are mean. People
True, very
are
true.
mean. So if you know who you are and you know why you want to pursue this industry, then you can do it without doing it for the wrong reasons.
Sure.
Because you need to stay grounded, you know. Like I have had a couple bad experiences with therapists or counselors. So when I say that, okay, which is quite ironic since I'm studying psychology.
Exactly. Yeah.
But when I say that, they only help you as much as you want to be helped.
Sure.
So whether you are starting out with content creation and wanting to pursue the fame, if you don't, how do I word this? If you don't know what you want,
Yeah.
and if you don't have the good support system within yourself first, you're not going to make it very far, because you're going to follow trends.
Sure.
You're going to go after what everyone else needs. What everyone else needs you to post.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
wants
yeah.
you to post.
Yeah.
After the trends, after the likes and the comments and all of that. And you're not going to look at the message behind what you're posting.
I absolutely love that, because I was thinking about this while I was praying about this morning when I haphazardly called you to come do something that you were not planning to do today. I think that was my heart of the thing, is identity. Like, the reason why I feel like having this desire to be famous, or, you know, wanting to be internet famous or be well liked on the internet, why it takes such a toll on us is because we're not really rooted in who we are. If we're seeking external validation outside of people who know us, right? Random strangers on the internet, like, whatever you did to get them, you're going to do whatever you can to keep them. And I think that makes a very big difference in how we act. And I think maybe that might be the reason why these child actors and actresses like have mental problems down the line, is because everyone's telling them how to present themselves. They're not even formed. They don't have an identity yet. They don't know who they are. They don't really know what they like. They just know they like to act.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or I like to sing, or I like to dance. And because there's so much, everyone is looking to them, they're obviously trained in certain ways. Don't say that. Don't say that you like this. Don't dress like this. Dress like this. Do this, do that. And because we want to keep up all of the attention, we end up forfeiting our own identity to make sure that we're in a place where people are accepting us.
Yes.
And that's so destructive for us as Christians. Our primary identity is in Christ. Like, God has made us for a purpose. So our psychology shouldn't be, I need to post on Instagram so that I can get likes, even if it is Christian content, because I feel like that's also a place that we should go into. That's a place we must go. We must enter, take dominion. But even if we are posting Christian content, why are you posting it? Because if you're going to be posting it because you have a desire to be famous, and not because you want to get the message of God out.
there.
You're
Yeah.
gonna change whatever you need to keep the trends, instead of being like the prophets, who, even though they had so much attention, when they gave a word of the Lord and it was against what the people of Israel, wanted, they had the fortification, because they know why they're doing what they're doing, to say, no, I'm not going to change my prophecy because you want me to change the prophecy.
Yes.
I know who I am. I know who God has called me to be. So whether you're going to give me 1,000 likes or not, I'm going to tell
It's
you
not
the
my
truth.
business.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna say that I don't want to lie, that the idea of posting content for the sake of wanting to gain clout is quite appealing.
It is.
Like, it's quite appealing. I know we have to be Christian about this, okay? I
We be
know we're
honest
gonna
here.
be like, oh guys, we gotta post for holy reasons.
Listen, we are honest here.
But like, guys, I like clout. I won't lie. Like, I don't even want to lie
That's the
to you.
clip.
I have tendencies of, I'll share a WhatsApp status and then I'll constantly go back and be like, who's viewing this thing? Like, why isn't this person viewing it? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, honestly speaking, like, I have to say that it's, and that's the thing, right? That's the thing with things that people tend to do. It's like what you were just saying right now. The idea of sacrificing without realizing it's sacrificing your own identity for the sake of fitting in to the cyber community or virtual community. It is that impactful. And when something is that impactful to people in the secular world, you can trust
Ooh-wee.
that it is just as appealing and as attractive to people within the church.
Come now.
Because at the end of the day, we still live in the flesh,
We are
right?
people.
Exactly. But I think it is important to move into some of the dangers that we see from people who are just doing things for the sake of clout, right? And obviously, in terms of by clout, I'm talking about for the sake of getting some kind of social approval, getting some kind of, feeling like you're part of something, which can be achieved in many different ways. Or rather, let me put it this way: it can be achieved through you doing good things and positive things, positive reinforcements on the internet. However, it's just so. First of all, you go viral much quicker.
Yep.
When you prank people. I recently watched a video that scared me so much of a guy's pulling this prank which I feel like these are the guys who they're coming with good intentions, because pranks have always been a thing and everyone should just get on board. But like, imagine I come to your car with a those what do you call it, 5-liter bottles that we use to pour petrol in when your car
like
runs off petrol. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I come and you don't know what it is.
No,
and I just pour it on your car like
I'm
this.
gonna
You don't know
fight
me.
you.
We don't know each other. You understand what I mean? It was
That's when you have to
such
pray
a
extra
scary
hard,
film.
because Jesus and I, it's not gonna work.
Right? And then the owner of the vehicle just walked out with a gun.
You see now.
Danger.
Because now, that's your fault. If you got shot, it's your problem.
You see what I mean? Do you see what I mean?
It's so bad.
Mm.
And I think those prank things, I have a friend who always sends me those kind of prank things. I'm like, bro, I don't find these funny.
Yeah.
I don't find these funny. Like, they're pranks that are funny, guys. But they're just certain things. I'm like, why do you have to traumatize me?
People, exactly.
Like, now this girl is going to be driving like this forever.
Exactly.
Looking behind her shoulder and stuff like that. And then you're putting yourself in danger as well, which I don't think is wise as well. But I think, that comment rings true. Attention is one hell of a drug.
Exactly. It definitely is. And I think apart from it being, well, not everybody's going to, I admit this, not everybody's going to go out and put their lives at risk for the sake of attention. But it's what you just touched on right now, I feel like is probably the more common thing that happens, where people give other people traumatic experiences, all for the sake of clout.
Yeah.
I actually, as I'm thinking about this, I don't want to see your DMs. Like, like, I really don't want to see your DMs, honestly speaking. I can only particularly this is a struggle that women have. Like I manage a friend's social media, and she like, first of all, she constantly gets comments about how pretty she is with the videos that she posts on all of the social media platforms. You would be let me not say you guys would probably not be shocked. I'm saying you guy.
You guys.
You would be shocked at what these guys say. Like, you've never met a person in your life. Like, I
Can't
remember
you?
this friend of mine showing me, I think it was an email they got of a person saying, "Ah, no, I was thinking about you and imagining you and I laughing and having fights and then reuniting back together and laughing again." And then he goes, "And my girlfriend knows that I like you so much." And I'm like,
The chest.
this
What?
is a person, like, you understand what I mean? You don't have a relationship with this person.
Hi guys, we are Dululu. Dululu is not Desululu.
You know what I mean?
I can't.
No, shame.
Girl, how you deal with that?
Giving get back in the pocket.
Because
Please.
how did you get out of that pocket?
No, honestly.
Please find the pocket that you climbed out of.
Mm-mm.
How do you deal with that though? Because not only, okay, there is male attention towards you, but also you obviously go to university, and I know that you've said that people have recognized you a couple of times. Like, how do you deal with the actual people? Like, it's one thing, and one thing that I don't think people understand, like, if you don't have a lot of people on your social media, those blowout viral videos are scary. I can attest to that.
Yeah.
It
yeah,
gives
yeah,
fear.
yeah,
Fear
it
entered me.
absolutely
Because you
does.
don't know
Yeah.
who's watching that thing.
Yeah.
Who has access to you now.
It's
Like-
so weird.
Yeah.
But like, how is it? Because I don't think I've ever met someone outside of my house that would be like, "Oh, I know you from your TikTok." It's always been like, "Oh, I know you from your mom." Then I feel a bit safer because like, it's my mom, it's fine. But how do you deal with that aspect of like knowing that you can literally walk outside and people recognize you?
I don't know. Because I'm very shy and very introverted. So I don't go out of my apartment unless I have to go to class. So when being approached, I normally just laugh it off and be like, "Oh, hi," But 9 times out of 10, I'm not alone. I have friends with me, and I'm mainly friends with guys. So I have my bodyguards around me, and they're like, "We'll protect you." There was one instance where I was at Clearwater and I was with my father, and someone approached me and they were like, "Oh, hi," but it was like, this guy was like sketch looking, and I just looked at my dad. I'm like, "I don't know what to do, get me out of the situation." And he was like, "Come, we have to go." And then this guy's like, "No, I just want to speak." I'm like, "I have to go." Sometimes you have to, like, you can't be afraid to be rude.
Sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
Like,
yes,
because
definitely.
At the end of the day, it's safety, So, yeah.
Yeah, I think unfortunately this is just something that I was watching a video of a very, very popular YouTuber, I think Call Me Chris. And she was talking about how she bought a house. It was so sad. And not only, and the thing that makes it worse is that she already struggles with mental issues.
Oh,
Like she already, I don't know if it was depression or anxiety or both. And then she has an eating disorder.
Oh my god.
So you can imagine that if people are going to come to, she bought a house, and I will honestly say it wasn't very smart of her considering how popular she is. I'm sure you guys, if I showed you a clip of hers, you'll be like,
I know who
I
you're
know
talking
you
about.
talk exactly. That's how popular Chris is.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, she bought a house and then she did a video of her renovating the house, and then people were able to figure out which house it is, people in the neighborhood. So they constantly came to her house. They were harassing her. I mean, she has stuff that she's like, she shared very horrible stuff that even I wouldn't stand. And yet she's still saying that stuff I can't share with you guys.
Hey.
And now she has to sell that house and move. You understand what I mean? Like, it's insane how people on the internet do not understand that everybody who's doing something on the internet is a human being.
Yes.
So it's very sad that there's not a lot of things we can do about people, and you can teach a million of them, but you'll find a million more
That's true.
that you were unable to reach. That people on the internet are regular people like you and I. They
Sure.
want their privacy. They want to be able to walk on the street and not feel like someone's going to come and treat them like they're some object.
That's so
You
true.
know, like you want to be in positions of being found attractive on your own terms. And I know that sounds weird the way that I'm saying it, but I mean in the sense of you want to feel like you want to put yourself in those situations where I'm with someone that I trust, they find me attractive, this is a safe space.
Yes.
Me and this person are here and I'm here willingly. You don't want to find some random person that you don't know. And it's especially this is let me not say it's especially, it's specifically an issue that particularly women and young girls have to deal
That's
with,
true.
unfortunately.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, which I suppose it also just, this opens up so many conversations.
So
I don't wanna lie,
many.
because it also then brings about the question of mothers who tend to let their young girls, you know what I mean, go on to TikTok and become incredibly famous. I don't know if you know about the kid who opens toys. He's a young boy, and his parents built a company on how famous.
wow.
This kid is a multi-millionaire. Well, his parents are technically, but
Oh, wow.
multi-millionaire. They've managed to. They even have a cartoon. That's how famous this kid is.
That's crazy.
That
right?
is crazy.
Who has their
Now-
own cartoon?
Right now, imagine all the little
Wow.
girls that parents are putting on
Sure.
social media. Like,
Yeah.
let alone the fact that traditional TV was a lot more secure. People couldn't DM you. Like back then, people don't know your number.
It was safer in a
It was
sense.
safer. They couldn't, and yet those kids still had issues that they had to deal with.
Sure.
Post once they became, I mean, they were probably dealing with them since back then.
Mm.
They're just now coming out and are able to verbalize it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really.
I think a lot of people also, like, especially on socials, they feel like you're letting them into your life, so they have that platform to say whatever they want, because
Yeah.
they're like, okay, you putting it out there, so I have a say.
Sure.
But in actual fact, and I've said this on my platform many times, just because I post something does not mean I need your 2 cents, because at the end of the day, I'm only posting what I feel comfortable posting, you know. So that comes back to the whole talk about, I guess like your clothing,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I won't put myself in a position of dressing provocatively, because I know what I've experienced by not dressing provocatively already. I would be fully clothed and someone would approach me and have
Be
the chest to
snacks.
say some things,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, so for me personally, I won't
I
show
like
skin.
that. Have the chest.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like for me personally, I wouldn't put myself in that position, because I know what I've experienced already, you know. So it all it comes down to what people feel comfortable saying to you, and how much insight you've given into your life.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that I completely understand what you mean. And I mean, there's a difference between you posting something and someone having something to say about the content, the content of what you posted,
Yes.
rather than someone coming and saying something specifically unnecessarily about you and how, you know what I mean? It's this is definitely something that would be very difficult to teach to the majority. And
Imagine.
I don't know, do you feel like being an influencer and to whatever capacity, do you feel like, based on what you read, I know TikTok is a much friendlier place than
Maybe YouTube.
no, specifically Twitter. Like
Oh yeah.
YouTube is
That place is
YouTube is insane.
X.
Like exactly. But what I want to get at is, would you say that your experience has taught you that the majority of people understand internet etiquette?
No.
The majority of people.
No, because people still have, like, they feel like they are entitled to an opinion, no matter who you
Oh.
are. So there is a level of etiquette that people do respect, but also not, because I'm okay with myself. I post skincare videos. right? Why would people feel the need to comment about my body? It's a skincare page.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. I get you.
Like, you're
So
out of bounds, bro.
exactly. I post lifestyle content with my Sunday resets.
Mm.
Part of my reset is taking a shower, right? I film it in an aesthetic way. I don't show anything. It's just my back. But people will still DM me and say, ooh. And I'm like,
okay, I get
there's
you.
certain levels to this thing that
Mm.
aren't seen or shown.
But now here's what I'm asking is,
Mm-hmm.
let's say for example a video of yours gets 500,000 views, that we can assume at the very least 400,000 people, or let's say 350,000, just accounting for those who repeated the video. Let's say just under 400,000 people actually watched it, and then in your DMs you're only going to get, let's say, worst case scenario, which I doubt it is, 300 people that are like bad comment, bad comment, bad comment, bad comment. So would you say that it's the majority of people on the internet, or it feels like the majority of people on the internet?
I think it feels like,
Mm.
because
Okay.
you're one person.
Yes,
so if
yes.
with your case scenario, if I'm getting 300 people coming to me
Mm.
as one person, it
Yes.
feels like an attack.
300,000
Exactly.
people. I understand completely.
So,
I understand completely. And unfortunately, it's how we humans are wired,
Mm.
that when you've experienced, considering how on the internet you experience things at a rapid pace,
Yeah.
and you have like all these comments coming in,
like over a span of
Yo.
2 days.
like you could be getting 10,000 great comments, and then you get 300 terrible comments, and it
But it
feels
still
like, what's
feels-
wrong with internet people?
Mm.
Right? At least if I had 10,000 good things and they have said it, it's
Mm.
just that the focus will be on the 300.
Yeah, because that
Unfortunately.
feeling of being like someone's fighting with you, hey, especially if you're not a confrontational kind of person, that feeling outweighs, that feeling
Yes.
outweighs everything.
Yeah.
I remember feeling like that with the first video with my face on it that went viral on the page.
Yes.
And like there were a lot of good comments, but those few that were against, what you're believing, there's a level. You know what? Let me say it this way. When the Bible tells you to be careful of something, you know it's serious. The impact of it is serious.
Yes.
So when the Bible says, do not fear the reproach of man, you must know that when men come against you, it is scary. Like it's telling you, listen, this thing is serious. You understand?
Okay, yes.
And so I really I feel like we underestimate how much those small words of I guess malice sometimes, sometimes not even malice, it's just like criticism. It does have a very big effect on us as human beings. And I'm even trying to think of the person on the internet who doesn't have a large following but got a viral video.
I get you.
And they had to deal with all of this at one time. Without any there's no build up. There was no thought of you going viral. You know how many sounds went peak viral, but you didn't think it was gonna be that deep. I wonder how many of those people are dealing with the after effects of not being liked anymore, perhaps not being followed anymore, perhaps also just all the negative people who came on their page. And kind of in line with what I'm saying, Tristan, I know for a fact, so you started with skincare, but you also over the past past year, you started posting a lot more Christian content. And I kind of want to want you to speak on that, right? Because you already had a following. And I remember you said something about it, but I'm going to let you talk about it. How was that switch in your tone, the things that you're posting? Because it's no longer just lifestyle and videos of my skin, and skincare and, brand, but it started to be more personal about your faith and stuff. So take us through that journey, that switch over.
That switch over was the most followers I've lost in like 2 or 3 months. So on my Instagram, I was just about to hit 10,000 followers. And as it sits now, I am just above 8,000 followers. And that's in the span of like 3 months. So that's almost 2,000 people unfollowing me because of that switch that I've made. Yeah, so that's one aspect. Another aspect is people just not engaging anymore. So because this is my brand, this is work for me. You know, I need the engagement in order for my career to be pushed forward. So I really do depend on the engagement. But because of that switchover and people not relating to the content, because it's obviously it's Christian content, not everyone sees it in your, like, through your perspective, you know, and people always, again, have something nasty to say. So because of that, the engagement went down, and just everything about my page felt very stagnant. And still today, I'm like, how do I post what I want to post, but still like pleasing the people who follow me? Because that's a battle that you kind of have to fight by yourself. So there's a YouTuber that I've been watching for years. She used to do back to school videos. I think she was like 18, 19 when she did these back to school videos. Now she is 30. And
you can't keep
you
doing
kind
back
of
to
need
school.
to, exactly.
Imagine me doing back to school.
Sitting with, like, in a classroom with the chalkboard. No. So she also did a transition, and I've been watching her a lot recently to kind of see what she did to transition. She did that transition to grow up with her audience, or for her audience to grow up with her, rather. And that is kind of what I'm in right now. Of my audience needs to grow with me, or unfollow me, because I'm not going to post the same content that I have when I wasn't at my best, and I wasn't in Christ. I'm not going to post that same content now when I am, and I'm working on my relationship with God.
Do you feel like you, I don't want to use the word blame your audience, in as much as were you expecting more from your audience?
I guess so. I think I kind of just, I didn't think about those repercussions. I was just like, okay, it's scary to post about my faith. That's what I was thinking about. I didn't think about people unfollowing or not engaging at all. So I kind of just assumed, okay, it's new content. They're going to agree with it. Like, I assumed the loyalty in a way. But yeah, it wasn't the case.
Okay, I understand what you mean. Look, I can understand it in multiple ways, because it's an audience that you build a certain type of relationship with, which, if I'm honest with you, the people who handle that best tend to be YouTubers, because YouTubers have had this thing where this channel is for this, and then if I want to start a different topic, I'll open a different channel, manage that and treat it differently, and see how well I can grow it. I can relate to your audience. I mean, if I was part of your audience and I was following you for something specific, that's what I came for.
Yes.
And then now when you make the switch, although I understand from your perspective that it's disappointing that the audience is not with you for that, but like, Kanye, you used to rap. Like, what's with the singing? I'm out.
Why is there a choir?
There's it, and look, at the same time, I would definitely respect you sticking your ground and saying this is what I want to make. At the same time, just speaking from the sake of just broadening what your reach could be, there is ministry in you actually speaking to people about their skin. I believe, personally, I believe that there is ministry in you doing that. And while at the same time, you can have a branch out. You know, there's Coca-Cola and there's Pepsi and there's no, look at me saying Pepsi. Guys, you get what I mean, right? Y'all get my point, right?
We get it.
Yeah, and I'm not only just speaking to your situation, because I imagine there are young Christian girls and young boys who are building something on the internet and they're becoming very well known for it. I mean, take for example, I think it was a few soccer players actually became very popular for their soccer,
Sure.
and then they'd just be very out about the fact that they love God. I think actually, what's his name, the one who just played his last league now.
We're watching football, but not like that.
Okay.
Messi.
No. I think it's Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah. He's Christian.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I also didn't know that.
Surprise.
Yeah, like you get soccer players literally taking off their jerseys and written Jesus Christ or
I know
whatever.
there was that person. I just
Whatever
don't know
message
his name.
whatever message is underneath. But my point being, at the end of the day, they understand that their relationship with their audience is their soccer. Right? Even though now you know I love God, but you understand. If you want to listen to me talk about Christ, we can talk about it over
Somewhere
there.
else.
That makes
You
sense.
understand what I mean? And I'm talking specifically to the pressure that I understand a Christian creator feeling that pressure that I need to find a way to squeeze Jesus in. Obviously, don't try your best to remove Jesus from your content, but there is ministry in so many things.
Absolutely.
There is so much ministry. You probably made so many young girls cry simply because it was like, wow, I just needed someone to show me that there is hope in the situation that
Now
I'm
you're
in.
gonna make me cry.
Oh man.
But with everything that you've said, I
Yeah.
actually, when Cal called me and she was like, "This is the topic," I laughed. I was like, you know what? I was thinking about that this morning
Yes,
because I have been playing with ideas on how to kind of balance the two.
Yeah.
And exactly what you said, there's ministry in the content that I was already creating.
Exactly.
It's just previously, I'm talking on TikTok. Previously, I didn't mention God at all. And that I felt very uncomfortable with this year when my relationship with God did eventually come to what it is. So then I started posting about my meditation time and my time in the Word, and that's where that rapid decline of engagement came from. Because like you said, that's not why my followers followed me.
Yes.
You know, they
yes,
followed
yeah.
me for the skincare aspect of it, for the lifestyle and the beauty. So we are aligned.
I get you
I love that.
completely.
And I
Yeah.
think one of my guys, I'm so proud of this one. Anyway, I'm proud of her because, you know, like we often kind of think of this, you know, you kind of hear it if you have heard the message about the kingdom of God, you understand? And, you know, we're more than a religion. Being a Christian is far much more than, you know, gathering and coming to church and, you know,
Yes,
being
yeah.
us. But I think the thing that I appreciate about her being in skincare is like the doors that it opens up to her for her to be in the room and God knowing that he can trust her to be a source of light and revelation and that she has influence. Like, guys, that's such a wild concept. Like, she literally has influence in, like, it's funny. Okay, so I'll say it like this.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
watched a reel of her the other day. Oh my
Oh my
gosh,
God.
it was so cool. I was watching a reel and she got invited to like a season premiere or something and she went with her dad.
Okay.
And her thing obviously pops up on my timeline and I'm looking at all the things and I see La Sizwe is in the same room that she's in. And it just dawned on me in that moment. I'm like, God is so good. God used her skin to put her in a position where she has influence over these types of people.
Exactly.
And I think that's one thing that we need to be mindful of as, you know, Christians, not just people who want to be influencers maybe or who are influencers already, but, you know, God really wants to raise us up in our own spaces that we can have influence. And I think the problem comes in is we want to chase the fame and the glory in the way that we want it. We
Yeah.
want to be seen on the internet.
We
But
want to
maybe
chase the worldly system
yes.
without the kingdom.
Yes. But maybe God wants you to be the light and the influence in the boardroom. That's where
Sure.
God has
Yes,
placed
yes,
you in.
exactly.
Or maybe he wants you to be a light in politics. Maybe he wants you to be a light at home because he's called you to raise up a family. No one knows what it is, but I think everyone has the desire to be great and be noticed and have glory. I think that's how God designed us, right? But I think we need to be mindful of how we get the glory of God,
Yes,
which
yes.
is we have to be in alignment with his will
Yeah.
for us to get what we actually desire.
I'm actually just imagining the story that you and I always reference, the story of the beautiful queen that saved Israel because of her beauty.
Yes.
Like, guys, come on now. Come on now.
That's a
Right?
epic story.
This is, I mean, the way I'm saying it right now, I know it strips it of all emotion. It sounds more like it's humor than anything else. But this woman saved an entire nation.
Hey.
Like an entire nation,
Hey.
right? That's big. That's incredibly
That's big.
impactful, right? That's
Yeah.
incredible. Like, there were kids, there were grandmothers, there were fathers, there were individuals that some of them not even knowing that their hope and future lied in what this woman is going to do in that palace. You know what I mean? And imagine if she
yeah.
got there and say, "Let me tell you about Jesus." Get on the
I'll be
floor
like,
and worship him.
I can't. Get out.
You're right. I feel like
Yeah.
in that situation, God, and there's many other examples, God had to play the long game, right? God had to play the long game. I know what man responds to, so I'll take what man responds to and not play it his way. Because if you get a person in the world, this is literally a pimp, is literally a person perverting the idea of women are beautiful,
Come
women
now.
are attracted to men. That's what pimps do. This is what traffickers do. This is literally something that happens every day. You understand what I mean? So there's a different approach to when you're doing it for God. I'm literally imagining like okay, I'm imagining for you. I'm not saying do this. I'm just imagining any other person finding themselves in your situation, right? I'm wondering how impactful it would be if you'd continue with everything being about your skincare or whatever that relates to that your audience would not find to be too far off the edges. And then one day, Nje, you just release the book, My
Shut
Beauty and God, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I found beauty in the kingdom,
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Beauty for ashes.
Like,
Beauty for
you
ashes.
understand what I mean? Then for those who are within your audience who would relate to you, first of all, for your beauty, they'd buy the book for that. But then there are those who want to know more.
Sure.
Like, how do you then keep your sanity? How do you understand what I mean? How
That's
do you
so
make,
good.
you know what I mean?
That's so good.
Then those are the ones who will read the whole book and be like, wow, she has God. Oh my goodness, I thought she was just all skin.
Sure.
You know what I
Giving
mean?
watch out for Journey to Clear.
I love it. I love it. And that's so beautiful, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's one of the things someone said this, Dr. Keenan Bridges. He said, a lot of people want to demand respect as Christians in the workplace,
Yeah.
but you need to command respect in the sense that you should be so excellent at what you do. People like, hey,
Viola Davis.
yes.
Same,
And then they're like,
same WhatsApp group.
why are you so good at what you do? And you say,
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes, exactly.
I absolutely
Exactly,
love
exactly.
that. Yo, Tristan, I'm going to give you the floor to say whatever you want. This is your freestyle.
You like doing this.
I do.
Can I just... You like doing
And
this.
her character and personality just don't go that way. I'm
No.
not about here to take the mic and be like, bah, 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 bah.
Please don't drop the mic. It's expensive.
Oh man, I don't know. I never know what
more
to say about myself.
more specifically, what would you say to a young influencer out there who
Yeah.
might be going through the same experience as you and dealing with people who are I'm going to use the word attacking them for the sake of clout?
So, I've actually spoken to my sister about this.
Sure.
So that's why it's very fresh. What I would say to someone going through this, just be yourself. Don't try and be anyone else. You are you for a reason. You are made the way you are for a reason. You have the talents and skills that you have for a reason. You are not the next Kylie Jenner. You are not the next celebrity or fashionista or whatever, because that would mean you are comparing yourself to them and you want to be them. You are you, and that is where your power lies.
Sure.
Because there's no one on this earth is ever going to be able to do what you do, or see things from your perspective and tell a story from your perspective. That is your power. So yeah, man, just be you.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, this was such a good conversation.
Most deaf.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I really hope that this was like good for you all, that there's a lot you can take from this conversation. But if you're going to be out there doing the things on the internet, know who you are. Know that you're rooted in Christ. Know that no one can give you the validation that you seek that is more than the validation you get from being a child of God. Honestly, know that you're secure. Know that whatever God tells you to do, be rooted and okay with that. Don't follow the trends to get clout. Don't try and do things to get attention, but rather seek what the will of the Lord is and follow his will, and know that his plans are for your glory as well. It glorifies him when you are in a position of influence, whatever that may look like for you as an individual. But anyway, until next time. First of all, you better like and subscribe. You better like and subscribe. But after that, I want to say bye. So, bye.